If we come to the visa part, I think that is important, as a lot of you have already mentioned that that when you are reading for PLAB and everything, you should also think about the visa process at the same time, because there are some requirements. And I think this is one advantage of this session, is that we have people from different nationalities, so they can explain to us differently. So should we start with Anush around the visa issues, and how should somebody prepare from India if they're coming from there?
All right. So the visa issues start with where you want to take your PLAB 1 exam. If you want to take advantage of the 4 times PLAB 1 happening in UK and you need to travel to UK, so the visa issues start from then. So planning for visa before PLAB 1 is as important as planning for visa for PLAB 2. So if you're planning to give your exam in UK for the first part itself, then you need to provide a whole list of things to the examiner saying that, or the UK Home Office saying that, I'm coming here for the exam. I'm just here to finish my exam and go back and not to do anything else. So they need to be well aware that you are here for a purpose, and once a purpose is accomplished, you're not going to take advantage of the system, not use the public funds or work here, but you'll go back to your country. So the first thing is how much you're able to support yourself during this entire process. So that's the finance. So you need to show that if you're working as a doctor, then you need to at least provide your bank statement or your salary slips for the last 3 to 6 months. That will give an impression that you have a stable income. And then you need to explain to them what are the expenditure you're expecting for the entire duration, whether it is PLAB 2 or PLAB 1. What are the things you expect or anticipate in advance for the thing happening in the United Kingdom? So be it for your accommodation, be it your travel, be it your exam preparation, be it academies or whatever. So you have to clearly mention to them that this is my expected thing, and to top it you need to add a bit of bonus saying that this is the amount which I have in case something goes wrong. There's a lockdown, there is a situation which I don't foresee, but I'm held back, so I can still support myself and I don't need to depend on anyone else. So if you calculate the entire amount and can reflect that in your bank account, so that should be a bit easier on the financial aspect for them to give you a visa. And then comes the technical aspect. You need to give them a proof that you're going there for a purpose. The purpose would be PLAB exam, be it PLAB 1 or PLAB 2. So you need to show them the booking, that you have booked the exam and this is the date when you have the exam. And then the requirement would be your IELTS, because without an English proficiency, you cannot go to a country which is communicating and doing everything in English. So that also plays a role. So this would be the educational thing. So to top it, you can add your personal degrees and other things which you have done to say that you're genuinely a doctor going there for an exam. And coming to the aspect where people will be like, I'm not working, I don't have enough money in my bank account, so what do I do now? So that comes where someone sponsors you, someone is sponsoring you, that you can take your trip and then come back without any worries. So who is this sponsor? Who can it be? It can be anyone, according to the Home Office guidelines. It can be a third party who has a professional or a personal relationship with you. Most important, it will be our family members, parents, or our siblings, or anyone whom we are close to. But that doesn't mean that it stops there. It can be anyone else who can prove that they have a professional or a personal relationship with you. And then they can give documents regarding their salary, their bank account, or if they have any fixed assets, they can show that these are the assets which I have and this is how I'm going to support. And most of the international medical graduates, they make this mistake in a haste, very eager to procure the visa. They say, I'll ask my relative or friend or whoever it is to transfer some amount into my bank account and I can show it that I have this. So this is something which was noticed by the Home Office, because most people, they who were involved in some kind of fraud, they were taking money from the banks, getting it into their account, and then once their visa issued, they pay back the loan or they give the amount back. So basically they are like on the deficit side on the whole. So to avoid this, I would say that, getting money into your account and showing that as your own money can lead to issues regarding visa. So in India, I would say that there are visa centers where you can apply for this. If you can provide your, prove your financial credibility and then your educational or purpose, the motive why you're going to the United Kingdom. And then if you need a sponsor, you can add that. Even if you have surplus, if you want to add a sponsor, it's always welcome and it can always, carry an advantage. So I think if more questions come, I'm happy to answer regarding the visa,
Okay.
issues in India.
So we'll go to Mohammed from Egypt's point of view. Has visa been a problem, or how do you advise people to sort of plan for the visa thing around PLAB?
Yeah, it's a bit problem here in Egypt. My first visa was rejected, and the reason I remember they have said that your bank account doesn't prove your salary and what you gain from your work. This is was the main mistake, and there was no mistake actually in my application, but I added some more approve for this. So basically, the visa process count on three things. That at first you are genuine candidate for going to UK. This is solved by that you need to go for the exam, which is held only in UK. The second thing that you have sufficient funds to for your process, and the third thing that you have ties and you will return to your country again. So to prove this, that you will return, you need to work more on ties. Ties include family. If you have family, for example, if you already married, you will put this. If you have any mother or father already old, okay, and they need the care, you can add this also. This is family ties. Second thing, your job. If you're already working, you can add this, that you already have a post and you are working in your country. You will add this. What you need to add, you will add the employment status from your hospital and the base slip for your salary. This is very important. Um, for example, in my country, we take our salary in cash. This, they don't know this. They don't have the idea that employees maybe taking their salary in cash, not on bank account. So you need to prove this. You will take the payslip issued from your hospital, and I would suggest to start to preparing for the visa after you finish your OET or I start preparing for this. I have done this. For example, I was having some money, but to make it explained, I started my bank account. I said it is my bank account. Started it after my OET and started to put every month some amount of money and make some transaction and putting some money and then take some money, trying to make it as it is. This is money from my work, okay, and I every month I put some money, because you need to give the bank account status for only 6 months. So you can arrange for this, okay? Make it already explained for the home officer. I have done this. The second thing, if you don't have this kind of work that you can't prove that you already have work and already have um, your own money. So you will get transaction from one who will be sponsored, but you need to prove the sponsor documents, like his work, employment status, the pay step for him. The last thing, you may add any assets that you will count on your side, like if you have any building, If your father have you given you any house, you may add your driving license, your car, all of these issues, all of this kind of document will be for you. It will, put yourself on their side. They need to see you that you have sufficient amount of money and you have more assets, maybe your toys to go back to your country. And regarding the money, I would suggest that you have at least 3 times of money of three. You will spend around 1/3 of your bank account. 1/3. So you need to have money in your bank account 3 times as what you will going to spend in UK.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your advice. I'll go to Dr. Daniel about a visa issues from Nigeria. I mean, I think there was some very good advice about planning. About I think what Mohammed was saying. I also advise on that, to maintain a bank account where the money is coming and going. And as you said, a lot of the times when we are working in our home country, sometimes we're taking cash or uh, using other resources to sort of fund other things, and it might not sort of appear that we are financially stable because we are doing those things, relying too much on parents and all those sort of things. So I'll come to Dr. Daniel about the visa issues from Nigeria. How do you advise people on that?
Well, I would advise. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yeah, we can hear you clearly.
Okay.
Yes.
I would advise anyone applying for visa from Nigeria to be very careful in the application. Unfortunately, when it comes to visa issues, we are at a very serious disadvantage. So you need to be very, very careful. Whatever documentation you're presenting must be genuine, must be the information you're supplying must be genuine also, and they must be verifiable. So for every form, for every line you fill, for everything you write down as your assets, as whatever you own, should be verifiable. Then for the financing, it will be best if you show evidence of cash flow from your account. It's just not necessary or important enough to put in a bulk sum of money into your account. At, say you want to apply for a visa next week, then you go put in a couple of million, then move it out after that. It doesn't make any sense. Make sure you show a steady flow. This needs planning. You know you're about to write PLAB 2, so make sure you have ample time, at least 6 months to show. So like Mohammed said about receiving cash, even if you receive cash on your own, make efforts to go to the bank to pay it in. Just show that there is cash going through your account. It's very important to do that part. Then also your supporting documents should be airtight. Last year I was denied the visa because I was supposed to write in March last year, but I was denied the visa because I didn't add my ELTS result. To me, at the point, it seemed funny because the world have approved my PLAB 2 examination without passing without passing my IELTS. So I didn't see the need to add it. But when I got my feedback, I was told clearly that I did not add my IELTS result. So that the second time I applied, I had to put it in. So make sure that whatever documentation you're putting in, what, even if you think it's not necessary, make sure you just add as much as possible documents you can add as possible. Anything would be necessary, anything would be important. But like I said, it's very important that whatever documents you're submitting must be verifiable, must be factual, and must be true, so that you don't put yourself at a disadvantage some other time. That's it.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think I'll go to Ahsan and Naman first. So I'll go to Ahsan. Ahsan, what is your advice on visa from Pakistan? Because that could be complicated as well, like the other candidates are mentioning.
Well, yeah, I was listening to Anush, and I found that the visa process between India and Pakistan is almost similar. He mentioned about finances for your visa and the purpose of your visit. Another thing which I wanted to add was you have to prove your ties to your home country. That is a very important aspect of your visa application. So that could be a job, a permanent job that you could have back in your home country, and you could write it in your cover letter that I'm going for these 2 months, I'll be unpaid for these couple of months, and when I come back, I'll join my job. The other thing, I know most people don't have a property or anything back home. So if you have it, good enough. If you don't, then there's no point. But a stable job is the best tie you can show to your home country. Some people have families or kids back home, and those are excellent ties to show in your visa application as well. So yeah, the main three things, the purpose of your visit, you should attach the GMC PLAB 2 booking confirmation. your finances at least 3 months, but it's good to have a 6-month bank statement with you. Apart from that, what I did was I registered myself as a taxpayer in Pakistan as well. So I had my NTN number, and I attached my NTN receipt. So the Home Office knew that I was earning for more than a year and I was paying all my taxes, and I'm a responsible citizen. And I did have a stable job, so I got a letter from them. So they knew that I would be coming back, and all of these things very much helped me in my visa application. Regarding the finances, I know some of you don't have that much money. Uh, there's something which off the book I advise to my colleagues as well. So for example, if your expense in the UK would be around £1,000, you should have at least £3,000 to £4,000 in your bank account. In PKR, that is 6 lakhs to 8 lakh rupees. So if you're a house officer and you're earning 45,000 or 50,000 per month, and you show salary slips of 4 months, and you don't have much money before that, what you can do is you can ask someone to transfer some of the money into your bank account, like 3 lakhs or 4 lakhs. But that transfer should be 4 months back. So you should make a timeline so that that transfer does not show up in your bank account. So 4 months back, like in July, someone transfers 4 lakh into my bank account. August, September, October, November. These 4 months I add 50,000. So now my account balance is 6 lakhs, and I would get a statement starting from August till November instead of getting a statement from July. So that would make sure that my account has around 6 lakh rupees, even if I have not earned all of those 6 lakh rupees. And then after you've got your statement and you've got your visa, you can return those money. That is because I know a lot of junior doctors in Pakistan who struggle financially, and it is very difficult for them to arrange finances to satisfy the Home Office. And sometimes they even don't have proper sponsors. Their parents are businessmen, and their businesses aren't properly documented, and so they can't sponsor them. And I know the difficulties around it. So this is something I advise them. I mean, I don't know how the sun came up, but yeah, so that would be the finances part.
And
Uh, I think
that's
everything else has been covered, the purpose and uh, yeah, sorry.
No, I think I was going to add, this is important, but a lot of you have already mentioned that if suddenly a big lump sum will come into your bank account, I think if you're submitting a statement like that, it's very common for Home Office to question that, where did this money come from? Who did give it to you? So if you're doing that, it's good to sort of explain. If you got a sponsor, you can put their name that this is my father or my uncle, whoever is giving me the money. It's important to explain that. Any unexplained transaction, if they see you in your bank account, they might question that. I'll go to
Yeah, so,
Naman. Sorry.
sorry, I'm cutting you. So that's why, I mean, if you don't get your bank statement from that time, and if you get a bank statement ahead of it, like if you got 3 or 4 lakhs from someone, even if it's borrowed money or something, and you put it in your account in July, get a bank statement starting from August.
Okay.
That is because I know at least more than a dozen junior doctors from Pakistan who have struggled financially, and they have struggled to get sponsors because a lot of business and everything in Pakistan is undocumented and they can't show stuff for Home Offices. So that's a loophole that has helped many of my colleagues and junior doctors from Pakistan secure their visas. Yeah, thank
All
you.
right. Now, Naman, what is your advice on this sort of issue?
Well, I think it's very well covered by all of my colleagues. I don't think there's anything left to say. But I think that this is it's a very complicated thing. What helped me at that time, I just searched for blogs which were guiding for the PLAB 2 visa, and the most comprehensive blog which I found is from Road to UK. So you can just Google Road to UK PLAB 2 visa, and it will take you step by step. Like even if you have to make an affidavit, there is a sample of it. So it's very detailed for someone who is struggling for it, I think. Yeah, so that's what I would add. Yeah.
And Sana, do you want to add something to that from
Yeah.
Pakistan point of view?
Yes, I do. Okay, so I'm gonna do it like for someone who doesn't know anything about the visa process, because I was one of those people who had never traveled. So let me just take it from the very start. So the first question is when to apply. Okay, so you need to apply your visa, like legally they say 180 days before you want to fly. Okay, people try to take that chance and they apply at the very end, but I would say give yourself good 3 months, okay, before you apply. Okay, now let's see how it fits in our timetable. So what I did was I booked my PLAB 2 exam. Okay, then I booked my accommodation in the UK, because you need to show them where you're staying. Then what I did was I booked a plane ticket. So that's a provisional plane ticket that you can get. That I did. And then the fourth thing I did was I applied for leaves. So this is all what I did as the work I had to do before applying for the visa. Okay. Now, there's a question, do I need an agent? No, you don't. Agent would, I mean, like Noman mentioned, there's Nasir's Journey, then there's Road to UK, there's IMG Savvy. There are a lot of pages that tell you how to like step by step go for the application, so you don't need anything. When you apply for your visa, they take around 14 days for the visa to come back. So that's another query that you guys had. Okay. Now, what documents would you require? So they divide it into 5 things. One is your identity. This includes your CNIC, your passport, and the other thing that I gave them was FRC, or Family Registration Certificate. It's very easily available on Nadra, as to this is my family members and everything. The second thing is you need the bank statement. I was somebody who self-sponsored myself. So what I did was I made an account, I made a separate account for visa. So all my house job salary was getting saved there, and I did not use that money. I was very lucky in that terms, but I know like you guys wouldn't. I mean, circumstances are different, but that's what I did. So there was only ingoing money over there. So I did that, and I gave them a bank statement from the past 6 months. The other thing is, so there's identity, there's bank statements or finances. Finances would also include your salary slips. The third thing is the education documents. So I send them everything, my MBBS degree, my consolidated mark sheet, my PLAB 2 registration, my PLAB 1 clearance, my GMC. You know, when you go to the GMC page, there is this your GMC details. So I send them that. So send them good enough documents. Where do you get that? I followed Nasir's journey. So Nasir has like very well mentioned every document that you need to send. The fourth thing is the employment. So what you can do, you have to apply for the leaves, and you should have a letter from your employer that you are going for, you're taking a leave from this date to this date. So this is very important for you to show your ties back to your country that you're going to come back and you're going to continue whatever job you were doing here. So always take a letter of leave from your employer. The fifth thing, and the most important thing that was a game changer in my situation, was a cover letter. Please, everybody, take some spare time out, but please form a cover letter. What do you have to write in your cover letter? You can read it at Nasir's, or maybe you can inbox me and I can share you my cover letter. Make a cover letter, write everything, explain your finances, your purpose for going and everything, explain your situation very well. Do that. And send your accommodation. So the fifth category is basically additional documents. So you can send your cover letter, you can share your accommodation details, and any affidavits. So for example, you made a transaction, okay? For example, a large money amount came into your bank account or whatever. Make sure you make an affidavit out of it, in which there's a signature from you as well as from the person who sent you the money. It just makes things more legal and easier. Yeah, so that is the thing from my side as far as the visa is concerned. But I can promise you this, Pakistani embassy, as far as you provide them with all these documents, I don't think there's anything, like, they don't create more problems for you, that's for sure. I applied and I got my result in the next 14 working days. So it's very seamless like that. So it's not like they cause you any sort of trouble. As far as the finances are concerned, I think Essen mentioned it, that you need thrice of what you require in the UK. So I would say keep good 5 to 6 lakhs in your bank account. Yeah, that's going to be my advice regarding the finances.
I mean, if GMC opens up a vacancy for an IMG guidance representative. Sana is definitely getting hired.
No, she's very helpful. No doubt. I think there are some questions about
Yeah.
sponsorship from the parents, or if you're getting. Does anybody get you? Any one of you got any sponsorship letter from your parents or your uncle, aunties, or anybody else to show the financial?
Well, yeah, I got a letter from my father and my mother both.
Yeah.
So basically, they're both entrepreneurs and they run a business. So what I did was I attached their income tax, I attached their bank account statements, and I attached this NTN slip, which the tax accountant, the tax attorney gave me to attach. And I got a letter made from the company that shows them as the owners of the company and how long the company has been. So I mentioned I covered the amount of money they had in their accounts. If needed, I could ask them for funds, and so I would never be short of funds. Along with that, I did myself. So I told them that, look, this is my circumstances. These are my funds. I can support myself, but just for additional cover, I've got both of my parents, and they've got funds, and they can sponsor me. So yeah, these things are mainly needed. A letter showing their job or their business, their bank statement, and their salary slip or their account statements.
Does anybody else wants to add anything for the visa? I think
I want to add something. There's a question. Should we show academy on the visa or not? Okay, I'm gonna answer very diplomatically. The stay should be as short as possible, right? So yeah, just make the stay as short as possible. Yeah, that's all. I think that's the guidance we're gonna give you in close words.
Okay. There's a lot. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah,
go on, Mom.
Yeah. For Egyptian, I would suggest that make what you are going to say about your stay in UK as short as possible. It helped a lot of people actually. When you say you are going for 1.5 months, most of people in Egypt are rejected when they shorten their stay and adding some improvement improve for their maybe money and work, they have been accepted. So I would suggest to make it short as possible, and mostly maybe 90% of cases the visa will be issued from the date that it will be issued. Rarely it may be issued from the what you are going to say to stay in UK. The second thing is I have seen one of my friends has been rejected maybe 3 times because he added some money, as you said, without proper explanation.
Yeah.
This will get him in a vicious circle. He will every time trying to explain this. So I would suggest to avoid this mistake.
There's a question for Inosh. Inosh, Monica is asking, in India, is it possible for retired parents with pension to sponsor their kid for the exam?
Well, I would answer this question because the pension depends. It's even though it's a stable income, it's not a salary where you get a lump sum. It's only part of the amount, and based on just the pension, if you apply for a visa, it's the entire family has to depend on the pension. The parents who are getting the pension and also sending their daughter, it can become a bit tricky. But if you can add some fixed assets like properties and show that there's a lot of bank balance along with the properties, and then this is also there, so that can make things easier. So I would say that.
Yes, actually, I did this. My parents were on pension, but I have attached the bank account for them. I said this, they have accumulated all of this money throughout their work journey, and they will support me with this.
There is a lot of questions around gap. I don't know if you've seen that, those. There are a few people asking about gaps. So, any panelists have any experience of people with gap?
Yeah, I know about the gap thing. What I know is that if the gap is between your graduation and before your internship, that actually matters. That's problematic. So according to GMC, you need to complete your internship within 24 months of your graduation. So if the gap is after your house job or after your internship, I don't think that matters, because I had colleagues who like had gaps of like 4 or 5 years after their internship. They got married, they were here in UK, and they were they had no clinical experience, but they got their GMC registration. But even if you have gap before your between your internship or before your internship, you need to explain the gaps, and if you explain them well, they do consider it. So yeah, that's all about it.
That's exactly what I wanted to say. That while you're doing your GMC registration, GMC handles each and every case very separately. So we can't give you one answer set in stone that this is how your case is going to be judged. But they do give you an area to sort of explain what you were doing during the gap you took. So there are a lot of options. Was it a maternity leave? Were you doing any research? Were you just studying? Like, what were you, or you were doing volunteer work? What were you exactly doing during that break? Okay, they recommend as less gaps as possible, but they do give you good enough chance to explain yourself. So that's it. Yeah.
Anybody else wants to add on that? I think if you, the only thing I say to a lot of IMGs who contact me around the gap thing, and they say, actually I want to do PLAB, but I actually haven't worked. So I do, if they're already in their home countries, I do ask them to start working, even if it's a part-time job, because it's not just about your CV. It's not just about what you're going to show the GMC. Once you become a doctor, suddenly you will start a job in UK. You need to have that confidence back. If you haven't worked as a doctor for the last 3 to 4 years, that can be difficult. Otherwise, it's always recommended, if you are going through a gap, that you need to maintain your clinical knowledge somehow. That could be by attending a lot of there's a lot of free courses, conferences, and a lot of events going on, that and attend those and keep a record of them as well. That can also be sort of helpful. I think Sana mentioned, they asked for reasons for gap. Having family and having a child could be a reason as well. This is one of the common reasons. Some people actually leave medicine for a small time, and they're doing something else. They're trying to do something else. That could be a reason as well. And so whatever your reason is, you just need to be clear and honest about it, rather than trying to sort of hide it, or trying to make any wrong stories around it. So should we move on to I think there's only last 20-30 minutes
Just to
left.
add on to it,
Yeah, sorry.
there are some IMGs who think that it's very bad to have a gap and they have to work all the time. I mean, it's normal if you have a gap. I've seen British graduates taking a year, 2 year, or even more than that out of it. It's just how you explain the gap that really matters. Uh, I'm not, and I'm not just talking about getting a GMC registration. This gap also counts, and you have to explain this gap when you're applying for a job in the UK, and you have to explain it in your NHS profile and during your interviews as well. Don't be shy about it. If you've taken a gap just to travel, that is fine as well. But just be able to explain the reasons and just tell them what your future plans is and how you want to cope up with this time and how you want to cover this time. So yeah, just be honest, just be confident about it. It's okay to have a career gap.
All right. Should we, Sana, move on to the next bit, which was about the GMC registration, the EPIC verification and GMC registration?
Yes, there's just one question. What if the work that they've done is unpaid in nature? Would GMC count that? You guys want to add something about that?
Yeah, I'll yeah. Yes, please, doctor.
Dr. Anush, you can go first.
Norman,
Yeah.
Norman, why don't you do it first?
Yes, please. Oh, yeah. All right. Thank you. So, yeah, about this, 1 second.
Anush, you can go first. I think he's getting a phone call or something.
All right. So, well, this unpaid work, it can be voluntary, and you have to explain what capacity you have done it. Have you done it as a doctor, or have you done it like a normal person? You can still do a voluntary work. So, if you have done it as a doctor, then you need to prove that you were medically registered with some, medical body. If you do an unpaid work without getting registered, that can get you into trouble. So, as a doctor. So you have to, when you're explaining to the GMC regarding this unpaid work, you have to show that you worked as a doctor or you have worked as a normal person, like any other person helping them in the clinic. If you have said that you worked as a doctor, you need to prove that you have a registration which is valid to let you work as a doctor in that particular country. And then any voluntary work, no one has issues with that. I'm sure that, if you come into the country, into United Kingdom, you agree that there's a lot of voluntary work happening in this country, and it is always welcome and appreciated. So it is not the money which matters, but with what intent and how you have done it. So if you have done it with good intent as a doctor with valid, registration, unpaid work should not create any issue.
Anything else, Sana? You have, I'll ask Noman. Noman, you're gonna say something about the same thing.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Yeah, so in Pakistan, because many people do unpaid internships, so that does count. So unless you are having a valid provisional or full registration with the licensing authority in your country, it's okay. GMC has no problems with that. Yeah.
Sana, should we move to the next bit of it for the EPIC verification? And I think you are on mute.
Yes, let's move to the next one. Yeah.